Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled that you're tuning in right now because, honestly, we're doing something incredibly unique today. We are going to forensically unpack a super enigmatic, highly condensed piece of source material. I'm talking exactly 8 words. That's it, the whole shebang. But I promise you, within these 8 words is an absolute masterclass in structure, human psychology, and the art of withholding information. Now, we're not going to bring in a single outside fact. Nope, we are literally just putting this tiny text under a microscope to deconstruct exactly what it's doing to us as readers.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our complete source text, exactly as it was provided to us. Let's just read it together for a second. 5. The secret reason tigers hunt at night. Just let that sit for a moment. It's kind of profound in its mystery, isn't it? It reads like some fragment from a lost ancient manuscript. In just a few words, it makes a promise, states a solid fact, and then just dangles this massive mystery right in front of our eyes.
All right, moving into Section 1, the enigmatic number 5.
So to truly understand what's happening here, we've got to start right at the very beginning. We need to treat this like a true crime scene analysis. Look at that very first character, the single digit 5. You know, in any kind of structural analysis, the presence of a 5 is never just a random character. Mathematically, legally, it implies a much larger unseen sequential structure. A 5 literally cannot exist in a vacuum. By its very nature as a list item, it demands predecessors. It tells us, completely indisputably, that we are crashing a conversation that is already deeply underway.
Which immediately forces us to ask this massive, glaring question. Where on earth are items 1 through 4? Just think about the sheer volume of that contextual void for a second. What incredible information was locked away in item number 1? What foundational stuff did item number 3 tell us? The source has completely denied us this preceding list. We are just dropped right into the middle of a sequence, totally blindfolded to the journey that even got us here. It builds this immediate, intense suspense.
Let's move on to Section 2, what we know, the action.
So, pivoting away from the massive void of the missing numbers, let's focus on the concrete facts we actually have. If we strip away the framing and the list sequence, we land on the core, literal fact provided by the text. Tigers hunt at night. Boom. There it is. Plain, unadorned, and completely verifiable within the boundaries of our source material. We've got a subject, and we have the conditional action of that subject.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we are legally working with here. Let's break it down into its absolute most basic components. The subject? Tigers. The action? Hunt. The time condition? Nighttime. You know, this is actually a classic psychological hook. You offer a completely verifiable, indisputable fact right up front to earn the reader's trust, right before you introduce the great unknown. I mean, we see this all the time in modern marketing and clickbait. If we were cross-examining this text on a witness stand, this is literally the only hard data it would confess to, zero ambiguity. The text explicitly asserts these 3 elements as a unified factual reality.
Which brings us nicely to Section 3, the anatomy of a secret.
But as we all know by now, the text doesn't just hand us facts, it manipulates us. Let's be totally clear about what we're dealing with here. A secret is officially defined as something kept from knowledge or view, something concealed. The text explicitly chooses to use this exact word. It's teasing us. It openly admits right to our faces that a reason exists, but it actively throws up a brick wall between us and that knowledge. It's not that the reason is unknown to the author, right? No, it is deliberately being kept from our view.
Let's actually walk through the brilliant psychological manipulation embedded in the structure of this sentence. Look at exactly how these 8 tiny words manufacture such insatiable curiosity. Step 1. Establish a factual action to gain the reader's trust. Tigers hunt at night. Step 2. Claim there is a definitive reason for this action, which instantly creates a sense of authority. And then Step 3. Intentionally keep that reason concealed. The author essentially creates this transactional promise with you, the reader, and then purposefully pulls the plug right before the payoff. I mean, it's absolute structural genius.
Let's hit Section 4, the unrevealed reason.
This brings us to a really stark, direct comparison between the tangible information we possess and the critical information we are so harshly denied. Let's juxtapose this. On side A, we have the fact. Tigers hunt at night. It's solid, sure, but ironically, it's not even the point of the sentence. Then on side B, we have the unknown, the secret reason.
This is the entire promised value of the text, and we kind of have to playfully acknowledge our core constraint here. We literally only have these 8 words to work with. We know a secret exists, the text absolutely insists upon it, but we have zero idea what it actually is. The source material is basically a locked safe, and it flat out refuses to give us the combination.
Now, what's really interesting to visualize here is the true weight of the text distribution. Look at how tiny that factual claim about tigers hunting at night really is. It's like 5% of the actual value. But the rest of it, that massive 95% chunk, that represents the unknown. That is the secret reason. The vast, vast majority of the promised value of this text is completely hidden in the dark. It's a sentence entirely built around a void of its own making.
And finally, Section 5, the lingering mystery.
As we draw toward the end of our analysis, we really have to confront this void head-on. Let's do a final clinical inventory of exactly what these 8 words actually gave us versus the monumental amount of context they kept entirely concealed. What was provided? Sequence number 5. What was withheld? Items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Provided? The subject, tigers. Withheld? The context of why they're even on a list in the first place. Provided? The action of night hunting. Withheld, the actual, literal, secret reason why they do it. The source provided just enough light to show us exactly how much we can't see.
Which really just leaves us with this final, lingering thought. We have forensically torn apart an 8-word sentence today, and we found immense structural brilliance and some seriously deliberate manipulation. But the core puzzle remains completely unsolved. We're left holding the 5th item on a mysterious list, guarding a secret we are literally never going to know. And so we kind of have to ask ourselves, why do some truths remain hidden in the dark? Are they protected for our safety, or does the real power simply lie in the act of keeping the secret itself? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible deep dive. Keep questioning the text, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.